Hello there, everyone, and welcome to this month's edition of Umbraco's Technology Partner Webinars, where we, as always, try to inspire and connect great tech with solution partners. My name is Jesper Lyngby, and I'm your host today. Today, our guest is Hans Henrik from Perfion. Welcome aboard, Hans Henrik. Perfion is a new partner, and they also have a brand new integration. And please check all the information on our marketplace about this new integration. But obviously, Hans Henrik will dig more into it. I think that you will both do an introduction of the product, and you will also show some parts of the integration, right, Hans Henrik? So thank you very much for joining us. So before we get started, I just want to say that if you have any questions, there will be a Q&A in the end of this webinar. Please just write your questions in the chat. This webinar will last approximately 30 minutes, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more. And if you should worry, don't. It will be recorded, so and we will share the link later on. So now this is where the fun begins. Take it away, Hans Henrik.
Thank you. Well, thank you for this opportunity to present Perfion. As Jesper said, I'm Hans Henrik. I work as a consultant for Perfion, and I'll show you what Perfion is and what the integration we have made does with Perfion and Umbrago together. So Perfion is a Pimp system, and a Pimp system is basically a product database where you can consolidate all the product information for products. That is technical information about products, that is marketing information, images, videos, etc., all information into one place. When all the data is consolidated in one place, it can be used on various channels. Obviously, a CMS system like Umbrago, but also in catalogs, on e-commerce websites, sending data to Amazon, GS1, and other channels for the product data. It makes it possible to have consistent product data in one place and make a change and have that change syndicated out to all the places where the data is used. And while we have many different customers with many different types of products, I'll give you an example of a product from one of our customers, just to show what it is we talk about. This customer, they produce pumps, very specific pumps for the pharmaceutical industry, and they have a ton of product data on their pumps. This is a pictures of their data sheets with performance charts, with various technical information. There's a lot of images, there's logos, there's some unique selling points here. There's some comparison tables over on this side and so on. There is a ton of information about just this one product. And all this information have to be stored one place, and that is in Perfion. Perfion is a standard system. It means there are no customizations, and the only low code we have is for very special integrations. But it's a standard system, which means that it's easy to upgrade. There is a standard API, so everything is accessible through APIs, and it's very easy to reuse the information stored in Perfion in different channels. We already have a lot of connectors to e-commerce systems, standard e-commerce connectors to Shopify, Magento, UCommerce, and Sana Commerce, for instance. And that's all good when it makes sense to send products to a web shop. You want to sell your product on a web shop. But we see the need to also have a connector for a CMS system, Umbrago. So you have more possibilities to reuse all this product information that we had here, to use that on your website when you are describing your products, when you're modeling your products on the website in a more editorial way. So that is why we have developed the Umbrago Connector. And since we are a standard system, It means that you load the connector from our Umbrago into Umbrago, and then you put in the connection information to the API, to the Perfion API, and then from inside Umbrago, you have access to all this product information inside Umbrago and can use it on your page templates. But to move on here, we have created this extension that is available now in our Umbrago to connect Perfion to Umbrago and use it. But I will switch over and show some of the things in Perfion and why Perfion is a very, very good place to consolidate all the product information and how we can model and validate product information in Perfion. I'll start up in here. This is sort of the startup screen. This is the dashboard where I get an overview of the products that I have in my Pimp system. And all the boxes here are widgets that show information I have configured in here. They give an overview of where my products are in the workflow, but I can also use the widgets to give information about products that are missing data. For instance, here I can see what products are missing German translations, what images in Perfion have expired image rights, etc. These are just examples. And when I click on a widget, I see the products in question with the master data missing here. I have a hidden window. I just gotta move it over here so I can better see my screen. So here I have two products where the master data is not approved, and I can see that these two products is missing some information in the master data. Some of this information could come from the ERP system. We have standard integrations to the whole Microsoft Dynamics suite and the SAP. Some of the information could come from suppliers. It could be imported, or it could come from various electronic classification systems like GS1 or ETIM or somewhere else. Another way I can access my product information is by going up here and go to products, and then I have my product categories here on the left side. And when I click on coffee makers, I see my products in here where I have the Jamboard, and under that I have the different variants of the Jamboard products that I have in here. For our customers, it's very important that it's easy to maintain products. Usually they have thousands and thousands of products, so it has to be very efficient to quickly maintain the products. And the structure we have here, where we have the Jamboard and then we have the variants underneath, makes it possible for us to utilize inheritance. That means that if I put any value here on the top, that value will be inherited. So if I say, well, all these coffee makers, they are actually 1.8 kilograms, that value will be set up here and then inherited to all the products underneath. So I can be sure that all my variants have the same weight if that was the case. You can also see that as I go on and edit the data here, the progress bars update so that I can see that my products are complete now in here. We have the possibility to set up various validations in here. You can set up validations on values, missing values, and we can set up triggers so that when a value is entered in here, something will happen. Someone is notified with an email, a new data sheet is generated, or whatever it should be that the structure should be, or whatever the functionality needed should be. This again is done in a standard system without any coding, and that is really one of the special things about Perfion, that the standard system allows you to model any kind of product in here, whether it's a French press coffee maker or it's a pump for the pharma industry that you need to store information in here. We store any information, text, numbers, images, files, and we can also store various kinds of information. If I change the view here and go to another view where I can see the the technical specifications of this French press coffee maker, we can see that the products are very simple. It's a French press coffee maker, so it has the number of cups, the material, dishwasher safe, diameter, and so on. But if I go to another product category, like these espresso coffee machines, they are more complicated products. So here I have a different set of attributes available. So I can create attributes that specifically fit the different types of products that I'm describing. Because if you're selling mobile phones and you're selling, well, coffee cups, the types of attributes you want to store for these products is significantly different. So that's very important, that we can describe the data precisely, that we don't just have a lot of generic attributes in here. This also allows the product to be more cleanly described. My product data gets more complete, and I can reuse this product data in many channels, for instance, on the Umbrago CMS website, or on Amazon, or in ATEM, or other places where I want to use my product data in here. Okay, so if I open up one of these products here, I can see the data here on the product, on the individual product. I can also work with the marketing data, and I have my text and my images, etc. in here. We also handle all languages. Here I have a description and a subheader, and if I want, I can quickly translate the values from English to any of the languages I have enabled. We have customers using English, using Chinese, Korean, etc., and generating catalogs and websites with that as well. So we can handle all languages in Perfion. One of the things that's also important for many of our customers when we consolidate all the product data in here is that we can generate print. And I know print is not related to a CMS, but it is important to the customers when they have all the product data in here. They want to use it for all the channels. So Perfion has a built-in report generator that can produce data sheets and catalogs, as well as we have an integration to Adobe InDesign for producing catalogs. So when the description is changed, it's not only on the website it's changed, it's also changed on the catalog and wherever else. I said previously that we also store images in here. Actually, Perfion also have a DAM system built in to Perfion. The idea is that images used in Perfion could be product related, or they could be generic images used for lifestyle. And the idea is that it's the high resolution original image that is uploaded into Perfion. With our data modeling capabilities, we have the possibility to add any data that we want on our images, any additional data that we want to use on images, metadata, workflow, etc., and maintain that in Perfion. Those images, when they're then used on e-commerce website or in the CMS system, are then scaled and converted to a convenient format. So even if we need the high resolution 50 or 100 megabyte image for a catalog, it will automatically be scaled and made available for a format that can be used on the web, whether it's for e-commerce or CMS system. We also have an asset portal that makes it possible to expose these images to external users if you want to send an assortment of images, or just make images or files available for download from the system. Okay. So when I work with my products here, just come back to the right view here. When I work with my products and I do all the approvals and the validations. When the products are ready to go on the web, I need to publish them. And this can be done automatically through the triggering. So when everything is approved, it will automatically be published. And I can also do the publishing manually. So if I go to the publish work mode here, I have my Umbrago website here. And in this demo, I set up an Umbrago website where I have created 3 categories: brewing, keeping warm, and accessories. And I've added some products to the different categories. To add these 2 products here to the website, I'll simply just drag them into the category, and they get added up here. And I can also specify the order of the products, so I can specify the order here. This is a universal way of adding products. I would do it the same way if I added products to my catalog. So here I have an example of a catalog where I have the same structure with my different sections and the different products in the catalog. But adding them to the website makes them available in my website. So if we go back, if we jump to Umbrago, we can see that here we have a sample website that I'm sure you are familiar with. And in here, the product is now available with the product information from Perfion. The product information is loaded from Perfion through the API. And in Perfion, it is defined what attributes should be available in Umbrago. The page is developed through a template, but here I have information coming directly from Perfion. The main point here is basically that when you develop an Umbrago site, you also have the product information and the images and everything else in Perfion available in Umbrago that you can use in your templates. And that's what this template shows. If we jump into the background, and I'll see if I can, there we go. If I log in here to the backend, you can see here. So to select my product, here I'll go in and add a new Perfume product, and then I simply put the reference to the product I want to use. So I select among the products that I have added to my that I published to Umbrago, select my product, and then I can put in all the other details. The template that is used is applied to this product, and the product is published on the site. The data is then transferred to Umbrago and is laying in Umbrago in the database there. But it is refreshed when needed, and it means that it's not accessing data directly. When a user goes on an Umbrago site, it's not accessing data directly from the API, it's taking it from Umbrago, but Umbrago keeps it updated every 20th minute. So you can ensure proper performance, etc. It might be that Perfion is in the cloud somewhere and Umbrago is somewhere else. So you ensure you have the connection this way. So the extension is available now. It's in our Umbrago, and it's also on the marketplace, and it can be downloaded directly in here. So yeah, that was my quick tour of Perfion. I didn't want to make it too specific about Perfion, though I hope it gave some introduction to Perfion. Do you have any questions, Jesper?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for a very thorough demonstration, Hans Henrik. And I definitely have some questions, and let's see if there's any questions from our guests. Please put them in the chat if there's any. I definitely have some to throw at you right away, Hans Henrik. Could you specify for us, what would a typical Perfume customer be like?
Mm?
A typical Perfume customer.
A typical Perfume customer would be a small, medium-sized companies. Basically, we say in rough terms, someone that is using Dynamics BC, Dynamics FO, that kind of company, that size. They usually have complex products to some degree. I mean, the Pump agreed was maybe extreme complex, but usually they are more complex than just French press coffee makers. It could be that their products have special relations. Maybe it's spare parts that only fit certain car models, or there's some kind of complexity around the products where a simple database, a simple ERP system does not cope with the product management. There is some more needed to have the workflow. Additionally, customers that have B2B customers, customers that have many languages, etc., are usually a typical Perfume customers. But to be honest, we have customers producing pumps or feta cheese or jewelry or fashion and apparel. So we have customers within pretty much any vertical you can come up with.
So would the complexity be your USP compared to competitors within the Pimp domain?
Yeah, I would think so. It's really where we shine. You could say, I mean, obviously we can also handle simpler products, but it's really where we can something that I don't think anyone else can, at least at the implementation time we can offer, because it is a standard system where you can configure this instead of do a ton of customization.
Great. We have a question from Ibra. Hey, Ibra. What key considerations would you suggest companies need to think about when choosing a Pimp provider, given how many there are out there? It could be a daunting task.
Yeah. There's one thing I would be careful with, and that is not necessarily to lock yourself in. I would be hesitant choosing a Pimp provider that is tied with your e-commerce system or your ERP system, because it gives you less freedom going forward. Additionally, I can see another ERP provider is the customization of the ERP system. It's not a direct Pimp system, right? But it is also a kind of a competition, and that's just gonna end very bad. I usually because it's gonna end in a huge bill in customizations. I would say important part is look at the overview and looking at what abilities there are for getting an overview of products. That's what we see a lot. So it's important to, I would say, on a high level, pick a Pimp provider that is not tying you together with a specific e-commerce system, a specific ERP system. And secondly, it depends very much on the type of products you have and the amount of customization the customer will need going forward.
Thank you very much. So freedom.
Yes. I mean, one thing is if you have to change your e-commerce system, right? But if you have to change the e-commerce system and then also your Pimp system, and then you kind of lock the customer in.
Please, if anybody else has questions, I have several more. Going back to the complexity, does that mean, Hansen, like that you have more enterprise customers than SMBs, for example, because you have complex as a unique selling point?
Yeah. No, it doesn't. But then again, SMBs are also sometimes, from a data point of view, they can sometimes be complex customers. We can have a small customer that are selling tow bars to cars, But modeling those tow bars to cars is extremely complex, and it's not doable by any other system out of the box, because you have to relate it to different cars, and if it's to an Audi A4, there's this description, and if it's an Audi A6, then there's another instruction, and so on. And this whole complexity, and that's even for a relatively small customer. So it doesn't have to be enterprise customers to be complex. It's not a small customer, but it's not only big customers that have complex product data. Many customers actually have complex products. I did an implementation at a customer in UK selling greeting cards, and you would think greeting cards, that's got to be super simple, but it was actually quite complex, because the bill of material was quite significant, because sometimes it has the cello around the card, and sometimes there's a little teddy bear glued on, and that had to be sourced somewhere else from, and did it contain some special materials and so on. So it's not always obvious what kind of businesses have complex product data, but it's something they need to manage. They need to ensure that everything is complete, and it has the different. There are so many certifications and things you need to provide to your products today, that it is necessary to have a system that can cope with that kind of information. It's not just that you're selling T-shirts and they come in 3 different colors. That's the simplified example.
We have a couple of more questions from our guests. First of all, Pedro, hello, Pedro, is asking, you said that products published to Umbrago would be saved in Umbrago and their information would be fetched every 20 minutes. Can you show how the information is saved? Is it a tree node? Now, to be fair, I don't know if you're an Umbrago specialist yourself or Hans Henrik, but do you understand the question, and is that possible?
I understand the question. I cannot show it because I'm really good at Perfion, if I may say so myself. But on the Umbrago side, that's not my strong side. So on that side, I'm telling what I've been told by the developers to be completely transparent. But I'd love to, if we know who asked the question, I'd love to get back on it after the session here.
Okay, Pedro, would that be okay? You can just give me a thumbs up, and then Hans Henrik will reach out to you. Sure thing, says Pedro. Thank you, Pedro. So also we have a question from Mansour. If Perfion is going to cover the product catalog aspect of e-commerce, will there be other plugins from Umbrago to cover other aspects such as card, payment, shipping, etc.?
Is that a question for me?
I think, in fact, thinking of it is a question for me, but that's okay. So definitely, I think that just a general answer here would be that Paraffion is one out of several Pimp collaborators that we have in this space, and but we will work on pay. We in fact already have a partner working within payment. I don't know if we don't have card or shipping, but so yeah. So again, a question or answer to that question would be that we're not in the commerce space, we're in the CMS space, but we do see that more and more are using us with e-commerce as that content container within a headless, for example. So I think that we will probably have a couple of more partners within that space. I don't know if that answers the question totally, but that was the more general answer. Also, Christopher Suo was also asking to get a reply on Pedro's question there, so we'll make sure that they get back to you. So the obvious question more, Hans Henrik, is pricing. Can you tell us a bit about price models for Perfion?
Yeah, so there are different tiers of Perfion. First of all, we have a SaaS payment model, and we have a perpetual payment model. And we also have the SaaS that is hosted, but you can also have it on premise. Then I suppose technically it's more rental model in that case. So we basically cover whatever roles you boat. Pricing wise, it's similar to other systems, though our implementation time is significantly less because we are a standard system. So the whole complexity of developing and testing and so on of customizations is not relevant. A big part of the implementation is enabling the customer to configure the system themselves, of course, with our help or with our partners' help, using the best practice. A typical solution is in the area of 60,000-70,000 euros, but it differs a lot. It really differs a lot from a small starter edition to a huge enterprise edition. So it can really vary a lot. The things that affect it are the number of users, number of languages, and can also be the different connectors that are needed to the system. So our idea is, if you have Shopify and you want connectors to Shopify, there's value in that, and you pay some for that. But it is in that area. But as I said, the implementation time is significantly shorter. We are typically looking at implementation time in around 30 days or less for a Pimp system.
So the final question from myself, I know that you're out of Denmark, but you do have offices in, for example, Manchester, if I'm not wrong, and in Düsseldorf. But could you just say a few words on, your priority markets and regions where can we expect to meet you?
Well, you can meet us worldwide. We have, as you say, office. I mean, we're based out of Denmark, but we have office in UK, in the Benelux, and in Germany, and in the US as well. So we have an office in Austin, Texas as well. We focus very much, we just opened up the office in UK. So of course, even though we already have, I think 13 customers in UK, we are of course focusing a lot on that, but we are going everywhere. We see a little on the Eastern Europe interest there coming up. For me as a consultant, I would like to see some more interest from Italy, but that hasn't happened yet. Mostly we are focusing on around Europe right now. That's where the main focus is, where we have the offices. But we do have customers all over the world, also in Australia, Asia, etc. But we focus on the Europe as it is right now.
Okay, there's a question more from Petro. Do Perfion translated fields match Umbraco's language variants?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know.
So more to dig in when you.
So more to dig in. Yeah.
Okay.
The note on that, just as a side note on that, is that Umbrago is one channel, and if you have e-commerce systems, that are other channels. And so our e-commerce API, which is utilized for the integration to Umbrago, can translate languages. I mean, not translate the value as such, but it can say, well, what Perfion considers as German is this language in Umbrago, and this language in Shopify, and this language in eTIM or whatever channel it would be. So So I would say, the cheeky answer would be yes, because we support any language invariants, but I have a hunch that the answer is not that simple. But but initially, I would say yes, of course we do.
Well, we really appreciate your being absolutely transparent, Hansen. But okay, I think we're a bit gone over time here. But any final questions? Otherwise, I just want to thank you, Hans-Henrik, for a great presentation. Thank you for attending. All guests too. This webinar has been taped and recorded, so you will all get a link or check it out on the YouTube channel. We aim to be back in June already with yet another inspiring tech webinar. But until then, goodbye and thank you all. Thank you all for attending. Have a great weekend. Take care, everyone.